Okay, so I'm just restarting. Just want to get some validation if we are back. Um, so I think I finished talking about Quill just before we got cut off, and there's a couple other random thugs that are in there. There's like Fogel, Baker, Potter. They're basic thugs. They're thuggish, but they're kind of comic relief. They're pretty funny. Um, And then actually one other person that we have in there is, as some of you know, the original title of the movie, or the working title, was Trumpeter's Gale, named after Joseph Trumpeter. He's a Nobel Prize-winning Austrian economist. He actually coined the term creative destruction. That was his term of how things get created and destroyed in the process of capitalism. So and Trumpeter's Gale is actually a term, alternate term for creative destruction. That turned out to be way too esoteric even for libertarians. A lot of people had to look up who Trumpeter was. And so, we kept moving, and we also kept moving more towards alternate currency silver things. So we got rid of that title. But we did keep Joseph Trumpeter. He's a bartender actually now. We actually recreated his likeness. So advocates of Joseph Trumpeter will actually find the bar's name is Trumpeter's Gale, and see that the bartender looks a lot like Joseph Trumpeter. So it's just a inside economist joke for folks. So that's basically outline of the major characters that are in the movie. Although the content is serious. Oh, Megan's photobombing us here. Content is really serious, as you know, but we're really trying to make it a quirky kind of Fight Club kind of like humor to the whole thing. Just so it's more interesting, more popular, and gets out to more people. Also, my philosophy is that we should have fun doing this. If you get too serious, you're just going to burn out, and we want to keep doing this for a good while. So we'll be releasing this in the fall. It's very likely that we'll have some sort of sneak, super rough cut preview at Portfest. We're still working out the details for that. It'd be an extremely rough cut, so you'd have to be patient enough to see what it really looks like, to see what a work in progress animation looks like, as opposed to a finished movie, just to set your expectations. So I'll wrap up and sort of move over to questions. I left about 15 for that. I don't have any idea how many people are online, or if I'm just talking into the bytes, or into dev null. But basically, I appreciate your interest, and hope this gives you a good sense of what to expect. We are really looking for a really, an intern who's facile with libertarian stuff and facile with social media for this summer. So we really would love to find somebody to come by our office and work there over the summer. It's one of the best gigs you can imagine. We're just looking for more people there. And we're doing some point of view blogs. We have Stacy Litz writing What Would Zoe Do already, so she's writing a blog from Zoe's point of view. I'm looking for additional bloggers to write sort of per story things, just occasional, a couple a month, from the point of view of Bernie, my favorite pot-smoking lesbian in the movie. I've got a couple of leads on that, but it's actually hard finding people who are authentically pot-smoking lesbian and good writers to boot. So you can usually find 2 out of the 3. And also want to do some like press releases from Victor Brandt. So if anybody's like really good at writing, spooky federal press release types of stuff, I want to do little missives from here. So, all right, I'm starting to get some comments here. Okay, so it sounds like there's some people here, and are there any questions or thoughts as we go here? Ready, open for that. It looks like some people dropped off when I lost my first connection. So, and then, the other thing that we are working on for characters is there's a author. I'm trying to remember what his current name is because we just changed it. He's but we're trying to get Jesse Ventura to be this in this bit part. He's like, it's our one political speech in the whole movie, but he's the author describing his new book inside of a bookstore. And so there's some people walking through. That part's already in the comic, and we made him look kind of um, like the body. So we'll be ready for that. Um, so, um, um, any other thoughts or questions out there? I know there's 7 people, so. Not at the moment. Okay. Um, I can go down some other stuff, or I can just cut it early. So, rather than watch me ad lib on there, I might want to um, bring this to a close, unless there's anybody with ideas. When will it be ready is one of the things. We're aiming for the fall. We're aiming to have it done. The submission deadline for Sundance, which is a long shot, is September 3rd, and then the South by Southwest deadline is in December. So we're just pushing to get the thing done. There's an extraordinary amount of work to do to get the thing ready, but we're making good progress, and we'll get it into one of those festivals. There's a difference between it's done and ready and when it's able to be released in theaters, just because if it does well in a festival, there has to be like a premiere at the festival. In terms of distribution, basically the plans are to do a limited theater release. In order to be eligible for any awards, you have to do a release in New York and LA. There could be some interesting audiences for it, in around the New England area. There's obviously a lot of free staters who are interested in this kind of thing, and the Mass area. And there's a lot of people that are, actually when we were at South by Southwest, it's such an interesting, weird town. It's got one of the strongest libertarian concentrations of anywhere, next to New York City. So that would be an interesting place to screen the film too. So we're looking at cities to kind of do that kind of thing. We'll probably do something kind of like what Atlas Shrugged and most films have done now, to basically put people in there to put a thing online to petition for a screening in your area. It's a tricky proposition, because basically you have to buy the movie theater and get whatever money you get out of it. So it can get expensive if it doesn't do well. Let's see, in terms of costs, it's just for transition, the total budget for the film is $1.6 million. It's for a film, especially a cinema quality film like this, it's very, very small. It's still an enormous amount of money, but it's it's compared to, we're hoping to do what you can do for a $30 million movie just by being really frugal. We saved out of union contracts and using an awful lot of technology to put the whole thing together. So that's our budget, but most of it kind of goes into staff and production, just to kind of pull the thing together. Let's see, how can we create buzz for it? Like I said, we have several active blogs. There's a very large Facebook group with about almost 11,000 people in it now. So that's very active, and stay involved with that. We have so we encourage people to do guest blogging for that, so people can write in articles. George was nice enough just to write one for us about agorism, but we have a couple of really nice ongoing articles in there, and we're starting to learn the power of Reddit, and to the extent that when you see something, to link it into Reddit or any other link mechanisms to spread our messages far and wide. Our Twitter is growing over time. So it's and there's little messages. Usually they link back to our Facebook or to a larger article. So most of the things that people can help us out with are online. We will be having some screenings later in the summer for testing and also just for publicity. So if people are able to help out with hosting a screening or giving us ideas about what a screening would look like inside of their area, definitely interested in talking with people for that. If you're super interested in being involved in this, there's actually a place on our website under community to sign up to be an agent, a Silver Circle agent. And for that you can, basically people can sign up for there to be like a special um, helper with the product. Let's see what other questions there are. Do we think we'll be able to make a profit on this? We'll see. We're not, we're pushing as hard as we can. It really just, and we're very fortunate that the whole Federal Reserve thing has taken off in the way that we never would have anticipated when we started this at the beginning of 2009. So, so the winds are behind us, and and we'll be intentionally releasing it into the presidential debate cycle. So there should be a lot of, interest, in debt, interest in Federal Reserve now, that kind of a thing. We're starting to see some signs of inflation, so there might actually be some additional fear about inflation, unfortunately, coming into the cycle there. So you may see some ways that becomes a a big enough issue that people will be following us, and that can translate obviously into into a workable audience. Really, it just depends on how well we do with the with the theater. Theater is always a loss leader in film, but it leads to the reviews, which leads to the DVDs, leads to the downloads. We have not yet figured out the distribution scenario in terms of whether to go with an established distributor. It depends largely on the deal. Self-distribution is more and more available nowadays, so that basically you can put your movie up and people can pay $5 to watch it, and they get 24 hours or 2 days or something to watch the movie. But if we do reach profit, then we can actually start releasing it more broadly. But if just making these things are constantly going to lose money, then we have to do different things. Question on social justice angle. I'm sure, George, you don't mean that in the left form of social justice, but we do show the heavy bad impact of inflation on several characters. The streets look a lot worse than they do right now. We don't get into social justice in terms of racial or gender categories at all. We really try to stay on track with the economics. If you can elaborate a little bit more what you mean on social justice on that, because I'm used to the way it's used in the other way. But in terms of how bad economic policy, bad monetary policy leads to trouble, the movie does have the potential to be nice and confusing for the left, just because we do have openly gay characters, we have people smoking pot, that kind of a thing. So so we touch on social issues enough just to have fun with it, and so it might confuse them to at least let them know we're not neocons. So it's kind of a classic fighting the man story, and so what we're really doing here is just trying to point people towards the right quote-unquote man to fight. So, but to see your ongoing questions here in terms of the poverty and social justice, we definitely see a lot of that, and we definitely see a lot of ranting and complaint about how the Federal Reserve has destroyed the economy and destroyed people's lives. And that's one of the good reasons for doing a movie, is to actually point at how it actually hurts people and doesn't just hurt an economy. So, we're trying to popularize that idea before it gets too far out of hand. We're very strong on the alternative currency angle of it. I mean, that's one of the biggest economic lessons in this is really called reverse Gresham's law. You can look it up online on Wikipedia, but it's, I'll type it in. But if you're looking for the economic message inside of there, it's reverse questions law and alternative currency. That's the underlying economic side of it. And we definitely hope that this will pave the way for more freedom for alternative currency, for things like the legal tender law to be released, and to encourage trade in something that's other than U.S. dollars, which are, I don't know even what can be done about it at this point because it's just really poised to fail. I theoretically have 4 more minutes left, so if there's any other final questions in there, folks, and do let me know. Otherwise, I can give you a fine view of Comic-Con people going by, which is one of the most bizarre environments that you can imagine. We are finding these comic people are really into the movie, actually. We've gotten at South by Southwest a couple of weeks ago. We were walking by with our End of Fed shirts from our booth. A jogger came by and said, "Bless you," just out of the sky. There's the message is really kind of out there. Where people are buying these End of Fed shirts from our booth here. They're kind of into it. We rarely get people that are pro-Federal Reserve or even knowing what it is. So it's really interesting to see is the whole End of Fed thing move into the public sphere and into pop culture. I mean, this is about as pop culture as you can possibly get if you could see, what's going on behind me. I mean, there's Justin Bieber shirts walking around out here. There's Batman, there's Superman, it's everything. And so, we're trying to inject this kind of message right into the middle of the whole thing. So I'll end on that note, but encourage people to follow up with us. We've got silvercirclemovie.com. There's a heavy traffic blog called silverunderground.com. We're trying to, for people interested in animation production, we have a production blog called refinery.silvercirclemovie.com, which shows a lot of how we do the animation. That's a whole side I can talk about. And people here at the conference are very interested in that and seeing the performance capture and the actors. And there's a whole level of innovation we're doing with that that we don't talk about here. So that's about it. Megan, do you want to say bye?
Bye.
Okay.
Hope you enjoyed the presentation. Check us out, silvercirclemovie.com, everyone.
Okay. All right.
And join our Facebook page because we're almost to 11,000 fans, which is huge. So we're about 50 fans away, so make it happen this weekend.
Okay. I'm out of here. I hope to be able to hear some more of the conference. I may have to do it offline when I'm done with the show here. So thanks, everybody. Have a good rest of the show. Bye.